welcome back to Football Chuggu Podcast. I'm your host, Pearse McLaughlin, and today I'm joined by my co-host today, and that's Thomas McLaughlin. How you doing, Thomas?
Nice to see you again, everyone.
Good to have you back on. So today we've got a pretty big episode in terms of a lot of talking points. We've got the round of 16 in the World Cup. We've got two confirmed matches already for the quarter-final matches.
Yeah,
We've got some managerial appointments. We've got a massive transfer news. We're going to talk about the World Cup Golden Boot race, which is really exciting. And then we'll round up with Asian football news with a massive transfer in the Japanese league, which we'll touch on later on in the
sounds good
podcast.
to me.
Yep, so that's the kind of running order we're going to go with. So we'll start off with the major talking points, and that is the FIFA World Cup at the moment. So the round of 16. So today is a Monday night, 6th of July.
Mm.
So we've had half of the round of 16 matches played. So the first two matches were played on Sunday, the 5th of July. Canada nil, Morocco 3, Paraguay nil, France 1, and then Monday the 6th of July, which was the early morning for us, which was Brazil 1, Norway 2, Mexico 2, England 3, and then we've still got the four remaining games tomorrow: Portugal, Spain, USA, Belgium, and then Wednesday, the 8th of July, we have Argentina versus Egypt and
Mm.
Switzerland versus Colombia. So, Tommy, let's touch on the Canada Morocco game. What did you think of that one on Sunday?
Well, I was a bit disappointed with Canada's performance because they've been actually quite rated as underdogs and they've been actually getting good results against other teams. So I was hoping they were going to get a result against Morocco because I do like the team that they have. They've got like decent players. They've got obviously Jonathan David. They've got and was it Johnson, Alistair Johnson. And I know they've got a lot of other good players, decent players, but obviously Morocco got like good star talent. They got Brahim Diaz, you know what I mean? Like they got that guy that scored a goal against Scotland, which his name, can't remember his name. Starts with an S.
Saibari, who
So they've actually
who actually
they've
just
got a
signed for
solid team,
he just signed for
but
Bayern Munich.
I was hoping that because Morocco weren't looking too strong in the group stage, so they looked strong, but they weren't looking fantastically strong. So I was hoping that Canada could go a wee bit further. But good game to watch from a neutral point of view because it's a free nil, three goals. You know what I mean? But sorry to see Canada falling a little bit short. But hopefully Morocco can play well in the next game against who they playing, Pierce?
France.
Oof. What do you think?
We'll touch on that later. But we'll just stick to the round of 16, then we'll touch the round of the
Yeah,
quarterfinals. So, in terms of the Canada Morocco, I thought, like I say, Canada had dominated the possession. They had
yeah,
numerous chances, didn't take them, and then they
yeah.
got punished in the counter. And actually, you mentioned Saibari, who scored against Scotland. He actually went off in the game injured and he pulled his hamstring.
Ooh.
So his tournament looks as if it's over.
Yeah.
He get taken off, and Al Uwadi came on and he got a double. So they still look pretty dangerous without him. So, but he is the star player, Ibrahim Diaz, and
Hakimi.
he's now the one of the joint in terms of he's a record assist maker for an African player in any World Cup ever. So it's a pretty amazing start. They're no good, man. But like I say, Morocco on the counter attack were very dangerous. They were happy to sit in, and they broke it well. And I thought they deserved it. But Canada played a bit of football, but I think Canada's journey is excellent. One of the host nations, I thought of excited fans throughout the whole tournament. And even when they get beat 3-0, they're still by far the better team in the game. But
Mm.
football's cool sometimes. Like even if you play the better football, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. When you get a chances, you need to take them. And
Yeah,
at
true.
the other end, you need to shut up shop. But they're a bit too gung ho, excited. World Cup, and they've been playing good football, and they've had some really good results. So, but no, I think Canada can go out with a head held high, and Morocco again, they just find a way to get another victory and they're through to the next round. Um, yep. And then we've got the next game now. So that's Paraguay nil, France 1. What's your thoughts, Tommy?
I watched the game live. I woke up a little bit early because I was in my wife's hometown. and her father was watching it. I woke up to the first 10 minutes. I missed the first 10 minutes. I watched
Mhm.
this game. Boring game, a very boring game. Like I expected a little bit more, a more like razzle dazzle, a wee bit like more oomph from France. But they actually struggled a lot against like Paraguay. Paraguay actually gave them a good physical game. Like they matched them in every aspect of the game. Like, and I think Paraguay as well. Like for the first half, they actually dominated possession, and they're very unlucky not to get a goal. And obviously, the penalty was a penalty. I watched it. It was a Stonewall penalty, but penalty goal, man. It's like I thought before the game that France were going to be like the pole for the winning the World Cup. Like I was like, well, they got a dangerous attack, but like against Paraguay, they didn't actually look too dangerous. Like I know Elise and like obviously they got the Mbappe and they got like Usman Dembele. Usman Dembele injured or is he still playing?
He played. He started the game, right?
I didn't even see him. I seen Elise and I seen Mbappe. I didn't even see Dembele went missing.
Yeah.
Uh,
What did
I
the
seen
what is
like
it? The front four, wasn't it? It was Dembele, Mbappe,
Dewey.
Elise, and Dewey, and all four of them
Dewey,
all four were quiet.
Dewey, Dewey was poor. Elise, the only involvement he had was getting a yellow card. Like he had a it wasn't a yellow card, but you don't get into grabbing a player and not getting a yellow card. But Paraguay very unlucky not to get obviously because they not got a good finisher. Unlucky not to get at least take it into extra time or get a win. But France scraped a win. Very very disappointing if you're a France fan because you're obviously looking at France and thinking we're going to be playing harder opposition if we're only getting one goal against Paraguay. If we play a bigger team, what's that going to mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think France have been blowing teams away in this World Cup so far.
Yeah.
And like you say, the front line is incredible. And you've got players like Barcola, Ryan Cherky come
Mm.
off the bench as well. And then you've got big Marcus Thuram as well. So they've got options all over. But Paraguay frustrated France. I thought
Yeah.
it was like a Diego Simeone masterclass if he was the manager. Like
Mm.
just really it's kind of like borderline dark arts to the football, which is
Yeah.
something I quite like. Because let's be honest, if Paraguay try play like Barcelona football and attack France, they're going to get
No,
pumped. They're going to get pumped because Paraguay in the first game, right, played the USA, right, and they tried to play attacking football. They lost 4-0. So they're doing that to the USA. No disrespect to USA, but USA are shit compared to France, right?
yeah.
So if they did that with France, it'd be like 10-0. Like, not even joking. And the fact is, Paraguay in their qualification for the CONMEBOL and the World Cup had the best defensive record in the whole of South America. And it showed.
He only one goal. That's
It showed.
impressive.
It showed because they've been very, very good defensively this whole World Cup, bar
Mm.
the opening game against USA.
Mm.
And the tactics nearly worked. And to lose with a penalty goal against France with the talent, the attacking talent that they've got, I think is respectable. And
Yeah.
in terms of a French point of view, you're a bit worried for the next game because if they play like that the next game, they won't make it through. And if France have aspirations of winning this World Cup, their performance levels need to increase.
He needs to rise.
And then the two games today. So the first one, Brazil 1, Norway 2. Tommy, what is your thoughts on that?
I think the pressure's got to Brazil because they're obviously thinking about previous Brazil teams, like what they've done in the World Cup, like the conquered and they've won World Cups, and like the type of aura and style of play that the previous Brazilians, like Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Pele, like previous generations, like they were top players in the world, like winning Ballon d'Ors or winning Ballon d'Ors. And Vinny is the closest player, or Rafinha's the closest player. I know Rafinha's not playing, but like, closest players to get to the Ballon d'Or list. But the rest of the players are like, can I say, like less than world class, just like normal, average. And I think like Norway surprised them, like how strong they are. And there's a player that I watched the game. Danilo was rubbish. Danilo didn't know what to do with the ball. He
Wait,
was
is that former Real Madrid defender Danilo?
former Real Madrid, former Champions League winner, Danilo.
That,
Um,
that Danilo, he was very good at Real Madrid.
he was so bad, yeah. But I was watching the game, and he had many opportunities to like kind of drive in and hit a shot or play like an LBY over, and he kept turning back and passing, and then he caused one of the goals because he panicked on the ball and played a short pass. I think the quality of players in Brazil is far less than what they had before in previous generations. Like they couldn't even lace the boots of those players that played in like Ronaldinho's team and Ronaldo. And I think like it's going to be a long while until like Brazil win the World Cup because the style of play that they play and is quite good, but they've not got the quality and depth, strength and depth as well. The defense is quite weak. Vinny Junior carries the team. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he is a quality player. I don't like him as a person, but he is a quality player. Vinny, when he's on his game, by the way, he's unplayable. And Rafinha being out injured as well, like that was a big miss for Brazil. You know what I mean? What do you think?
I thought I have to agree with you. I think Brazil are average. I think
Mm,
Vinicius Junior's the only good player they've got. And you mentioned Rafinha, he was close to Ballon d'Or 2 years ago.
mm,
Um, and him being injured on that right wing is massive
mm,
because they're playing a boy called Ryan he's got talent,
mm.
potential, but he's dead young. Whereas
Yeah,
Rafinha is like he's unbelievable.
yeah.
But I think Brazil over rely on Vinicius Junior. I think
Mm,
the midfield and defence is pretty bang average. I think even Alisson in goal is kind of past his best. I think he's on the downward spiral as well. He's mid-30s now. Um, and I think, no offence, you're playing like players like Endrick and Mateus Cunha. It's a massive fall from grace because they had players like Adriano, Ronaldo phenomenal,
mm.
Kaká, Rivaldo, Zico, Socrates,
Did you watch the game?
Robinho. Did I watch the game? No, I didn't watch the game. I watched the highlights because it was at fucking 2 in the morning for me.
Did you see
Um,
the chance from Endrick?
I did see the chance for Endrick, and I was going to touch on that because it was brilliant play by Vinicius Junior, cutting in and playing an inch
Mm.
perfect pass. And it's very reminiscent of the 2006 World Cup where
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo was put through in goal, and what Ronaldo did was a step over, rounded the keeper, and then poked it home. All right,
Mm.
and that was Ronaldo when he was like 32 or something like that. Right? When
Overweight.
Ronaldo was overweight, and he had already did 2 ACL injuries. This boy Endrick is 18, 19, right? And for me, massively overhyped. And for me, I'd obviously I played football, no the same level, right? But
Mm.
his second touch was really heavy for someone who's
Yeah.
rated so highly, right? His second touch is really poor, and it
Mm.
makes him because the keeper's coming out in so it closes that angle, so all he can do is
Mm.
lift up the goalkeeper. But in the fact as well, he's so one-footed, he hits
Yeah.
the outside of his left foot, and it goes wide, quite comfortably wide. So that was a massive chance, and it shows you a difference in the forward line because Erling Haaland, the header, stand just a simple cross, stand up,
Nickel.
ragdolls Gabriel, bullets the header, and then the best goal for me was the second one, where literally he just takes a touch and smashes it through the defender's legs, touch and hit.
Mm.
That's one of my favourite goals because if you ask any midfield player, any winger, they're never hitting a shot for that angle because they think, oh, it might get blocked. I'm going to try to take the player on, do a pass, this and that. Striker's instinct is the same way Harry Kane he did against Congo. Touch out your feet and smash it. And the fact it was a rocket lasered into the bottom right hand corner. Alisson, no chance. And let's say Brazil missed a massive. They had two penalties again. Scored it right then with Neymar, right? But I don't know what Bruno Guimaraes would do with the
I
penalty.
know.
That is,
Stutter.
I don't agree with stutter penalty because see the thing is, you stutter it, you're taking all the power away from your shot because you've not got a big run up to it. So if the
Mm.
keeper guesses right,
He's saving it.
he's going to save it. So it's all about looking at the goalie. Whereas I think for me, right, if you just pick a side and you hit it hard enough in the corner, the keeper's not going to get it because the keeper still has to keep 1 foot on the line.
I need to
And
react early.
so it should always be with the attacker. I think the only players that make penalties look easy, right, is Ronaldo and Messi.
Mm.
And people will say Pinaldo, Pessi, right?
Mm.
But at the end of the day, right, if a penalty is that easy, you do it. And there's so many players that are missing penalties at this World Cup under the pressure. So it shows you even if you have the technique and all that, it's really tough under the circumstances. But Norway getting through is massive. and I think the difference maker is Erling Haaland.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
what a player he is in his first World Cup for Norway. In the last game today, which I did watch part of the game, I was working. The kickoff was delayed by an hour, so it started at 10 a.m. when I had classes. I did manage to catch the last half an hour. I
Mm.
caught a couple of minutes here and there, sneaking into the room to watch it. My co-worker's English, he was on England tap. And also I'm Scottish, and my Korean co-workers are saying you supporting England. Pearse, and I was like, here's a Mexico tap, so not. And
Yeah.
They don't understand the rivalry between Scotland and England, and I don't expect England fans to support Scotland, and they never do. So, but touching on the game, I thought Mexico were by far the better team. I thought England were hanging on a lot, but similar to Brazil and Norway, England took their chances, defended for their lives, and they somehow get a result. The red card for Kwanzaa for me was a stonewall red card every single day of the week.
Oh, 100%.
Because he's lunged and he's went over the ball and he's made sure he's caught the man. I thought the penalty for Mexico was penalty. Kane committed a foul. And
Mm.
vice versa, I thought the penalty for England was a penalty. Gordon get wiped out by the keeper. But by far it was an entertaining game. Pickford had to make some tremendous saves.
Mm.
But England fight to live another day. Somehow, what's your thoughts, Tommy?
I think England is, I say, I was building on that, like they're very lucky. And I feel as if like Mexico, they kept saying that Mexico had an advantage because they're playing in Azteca and it's like high altitude. But like as Mexico showed, like they've got a good stamina and good engine on them. Just sadly that the goalkeeper came out and cleared out was it Gordon?
Gordon.
Sorry, should I say? And give it a penalty because I think if they didn't do that, it'd probably go to extra time. And I feel as if like I was watching the game. I watched like 45 minutes of the game in the second half. Gordon just kept going down. I seen like one challenge where like the strikers coming in or the winger is coming to press, and then Gordon just goes jerks into him like that, flings his body into him, and goes down and gets a free kick. And I'm like, referee's seen that. And I'm like, how's that not a foul against England? But good game to watch from a neutral point of view. 3-2. Kwanzaa's red card, 100% Stonewaller. But a lot of people like sending memes of pictures of Messi's challenge on that player at the very start of the group stage. And I said, well, it's different circumstances because that guy actually meant to hurt him. Messi was unintentional. But
Aye. So that's the last 16 covered. So we've got two quarter-final games confirmed. So Friday, 10th of July, Tommy, France, Morocco. Who are you going for?
I would say
Bearing in mind, Saibari's pretty much confirmed to be out.
previously I would have probably said hands down France, but now recently with the performance against who's France playing? It was
Paraguay.
Paraguay. The performance against Paraguay, I was like, but still France as well. So I'm going to go France win, but I'm not going to think it's going to be very convincing. I think it'll be like 2-1 France against
2-1
Morocco.
France.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think France will win it. I think it will be quite comfortable. Um, I think it'll be a 3-1. I think it's comfortable in a World Cup quarter final at least.
Aye,
I don't think there'll be high. I don't think Morocco could see a lot of goals. Morocco defensively are very good. They've got a brilliant goalkeeper in Yassine Bounou. And they've got a good defensive record. And on the counter, they look dangerous. So I think they'll score against France because
100%.
France do give you chances at the back. But I think players like Doué, Barcola, Dembele, Mbappe, and Elise can he have that bad a game at 2 games in a row?
Yeah.
And I think Elise and Mbappe for me and Dembele, man, they're just frightening to watch. So I think the firepower will just be too much for Morocco.
Mm.
And then we've got Norway, England, Sunday, 12th of July, Tommy.
Come on, Norway.
No bias at all.
No, I do have an affiliation against any team that plays against England. No bias at all. And I do think like with the firepower that Norway have, they have got a good chance because Norway have got the best striker in the world right now. Like apart from Harry Kane, they've got Haaland. He just is so clinical with his head, his feet, and the way he runs, man. Like it's hard to stop him when he's in full flight. So I do think England's defence is not very strong. So I do think that they'll concede a lot of goals against Norway.
I
I
know.
do think they'll score some goals, but not too much because Saka's been very poor. Madueke has been very poor. Gordon's been poor. Only has been good up front, but it's Harry Kane. But sometimes he is quite silent. But I do think it'll be a good game to watch. What do you think?
Well, for me, it's the two best strikers in world football right now, Kane versus Haaland,
Mm.
right? Um, and they both chase each other for the Golden Boot, which we'll touch on right after this, right? But
Mm.
like you mentioned, the wingers for England have been poor. I think
Mm.
creatively they've been terrible. I think England have been carried by Pickford, Bellingham,
Mm.
Kane.
100%.
I think although Pickford had a mistake against Congo, right? He's made countless saves in the tournament. He's kept them in games. He's a brilliant goalkeeper.
Mm.
But Kane and Bellingham, in terms of an attacking sense, they've been the standout players for me.
Mm.
And I think if they two don't perform, England lose pretty much.
Yeah.
So I think if Norway have a chance, they need to keep the two quiet. And like you say, I think Haaland is just a freak of nature. I think he's like Dolph Lundgren in Rocky Four.
Aye.
Um, he's just an absolute specimen. He's
Monster.
he's gigantic. He's
Mm.
muscular. He's fast. Brilliant in the air. He's got rocket feet. Might not be the best technical on the ball, not the best passer, but who cares? He puts the ball in the back of the net,
Mm.
and that's what wins football matches. So I know the result of this game. It's predicted in my head. It's a Norway win. Erling Haaland brace.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm going to
two,
say I'm
2-1
going to I'm going
Norway.
to
2-1
prompt
Norway.
you. 3-1 Norway. Hat trick. Haaland.
And the last thing we'll see in this game. Oh, oh,
Ooh.
oh,
Ooh.
oh.
Ooh.
And you better believe it. I'll be rubbing it in. I'll be rubbing it in my co-worker when it when
100%.
when they get put out.
Yeah.
And finally, the last thing about the World Cup, we've got the Golden Boot race, which we've briefly touched on. So leading the race, so we've got three players joint in 7 goals. So first we've got Kylian Mbappe, 7 goals. But the reason he's top of the list, because he's got 2 assists, whereas
Aye.
Messi and Haaland have both also got 7 goals, but get 0 assists. I know it's like the top goal scorer award, but if you've got assists, that kind of edges you a little
No,
bit.
but I think Messi has one assist because the game against Cape Verde, he put a cross in. It's
Well,
Cristiano.
down on the official FIFA, he's actually got down as 0 assists.
Oh,
So that's what I'm going off of. And then in fourth place, right behind there, you get Harry Kane with 6 goals, and he's got one
two
assist.
assists. One assist.
So the four players still in the tournament, and it's an exciting Golden Boot. Who do you think is going to win the Golden Boot, Tommy?
For me, ah, earlier I would have said Mbappe because he does score goals, but I'm kind of swaying towards Haaland. I think Norway's going to be quite an underdog team. I think Haaland he just breathes goals, Pearse. He just like he smells the goal and he just puts it in the back of the net. He's got that instinct, you know what I mean? I think Messi, very good player, he can find the back of the net anytime he wants. Mbappe the same, but Haaland's got this kind of like oomph kind of factor. He plays for a small nation, but he always finds the back of the net. If he's playing for a bigger nation, 100%, like he'd have more goals than what he has right now.
Well, I'm going to go against you. I think it'll be Messi, just because I'm going to go with the thing that you said. I think Haaland's a better goal scorer, right, in terms of right now.
Mm.
Because obviously Messi's 39 years of age,
Mm.
but like you mentioned, a small nation. I don't think Norway's making it to the final. If I'm being brutally honest.
Finish his last stage.
Whereas I think no, I think they'll get put in the semis. Or the quarters. No, I think they'll get put in the semis. But I think Argentina's making it to the final. And I'm looking at Argentina's next fixture it's against Egypt. And I'm thinking Messi's getting two,
Hat-trick.
at least 2 goals in that game.
Mm.
So I think regardless if Messi gets 0 assist all tournament, it doesn't really matter.
Mm.
I just think I, if you were asking me last week who's winning the Golden Boot, I would have said Mbappe. But he had a quiet game against Hungary, and I think Morocco will be another tough game. I don't know,
Mm.
man. It's just Messi at World Cups just seems to perform. I
Yeah,
think Mbappe in the long run always scores goals, and I think he
yeah,
will win. Yeah, I think he will eventually overtake Messi in terms of World Cup goals.
eventually, yeah.
But I think if you're in terms of this Golden Boot race, at the current time of recording, I'm leaning towards Messi. Um, and that's just me being brutally honest. And obviously, I think all four of those players are capable of winning the Golden Boot. But for me, I think right now it's Lionel Messi. And so we finished on the World Cup, so we're going to go into the English Premier League, Tommy. So we've got a massive transfer move confirmed from Sandro Tonali from Newcastle United to Tottenham Hotspur for £100 million, confirmed today and if only a few hours ago. Breaking news on this podcast. What is your thoughts on that transfer?
I don't think he's consistent enough to merit that price tag. I think he's a great player, but he needs to show more consistency to merit the price tag. And I think like 100 million is a big statement that Tottenham have made. And it's a big statement to make. What do you think?
I think Tottenham are going mental with the transfer fee spending. And we touched on it. Elliot Anderson and stuff like that, and Mateus Fernandes. The fees are getting whatted around for some average Premier League players, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think he's £100 million player because £100 million player gets you Declan Rice,
Mm.
and I think Declan Rice is a level above Sandro Tonali, if I'm being brutally
Mm.
honest. And I don't think Declan Rice is as good as people think he is, because some Arsenal fans think he's like prime Steven Gerrard.
Yeah.
Um, but he's a very good player. He can play multiple positions. But I think Sandro Tonali on his day is very good. But it's his consistency. And for me, will he improve Tottenham? Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. But he's not worth that fee.
No.
So now we'll move on to some intern. So now we'll move on to some managerial appointment in the Premier League. So it's been confirmed that Oliver Glasner, who we all knew was leaving Crystal Palace at the end of the season, is now officially joined Nottingham Forest, which for me is a surprise appointment, Tommy, in terms of
Mm.
winning the Conference League with Crystal Palace, getting them into Europa League. I thought he would go a step up, but for me, although Nottingham Forest had a bigger history, have won two European Cups in the past under Brian Clough. Um, but in terms of right here and right now, I think it's a step backwards.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
I think it must be because I'm guessing that they've offered them a big pay packet because, as you said, like you want to use the Conference League with like Chris Palace, and that's like a massive achievement. So I thought he was going to build on it next year, like getting some new signings and sell some players and like strengthen the squad. And then he's jumped back. It's like went back in time because obviously Nottingham Forest are not very strong anymore. Like they've got some good players, but they're not really challenging for anything. They're just sitting either near the bottom or in mid-table, base barely mid-table. You know what I mean? So I think like I don't know what they've offered them, but they must have offered them a good like kind of pay packet about it. Because for me, if I was him, I wouldn't have left Crystal Palace. I'd have tried to strengthen them in the challenge for maybe the Europa League or more.
Well said. And the last bit of managerial news, a man that's managed in both Japan, England, and Scotland,
Yeah,
and it's the one and only Australian manager with Greek descent, and that is Mr. Ange Postecoglou, who's joined Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr, who were just last season champions in the Saudi Pro League.
I think you
Um,
should start Pearse.
and obviously, the fact is that he's managing Ronaldo, which I think is really mental because his stock was on the downward spiral in terms of
Yeah,
Tottenham. He gets sacked, goes to Nottingham Forest, gets sacked after what 2 months. Couldn't win a game, and I think this is off the back of just his unbelievable success in Japan, unbelievable success in Scotland with Celtic, and a brilliant success in Japan with Yokohama Marinos. Brilliant with Australia, the national team, but to get this job, I think it must be because he's branded football.
mm.
And Ronaldo must have a massive say in that. Although Ronaldo's getting to the tail end of his career, I think it's mad. If you said to me like 3 years ago that Ange Postecoglou leaves Celtic and one day we managing Cristiano Ronaldo. I think I'd laugh at you.
Yeah,
So I think it's an interesting appointment, but it's definitely for the money. I think because he was being linked with the Scotland job and this job and that. Even a return to Celtic at one point. Um, maybe another Premier League job. Who knows? But he's took off to Saudi, and will potentially have the ex Celtic manager battle this season with Al Qadsiya, Brendan Rodgers versus Ange Postecoglou, Al Nassr. So it'll be interesting. What's your thoughts, Tommy?
I think it's a massive decision from Ange. I think it's a great decision because I think like his style of play will match Ronaldo's kind of like work ethic, and can maybe give him more chance to actually dominate the league because he plays a great attacking offensive football, and I think that's going to greatly benefit like Matt Ronaldo. I think even Ronaldo could get double what he got last season in goals. And I do think like Ange Postecoglou, I think he's a great guy, sound guy, beautiful man, and I also think his style of play is also beautiful. So I think Al Nassr next season, if they keep him on for a long term, if they adapt his style of play, I think they can win every trophy they can compete in because they've got Cristiano Ronaldo at the helm, and they've got good international players as well, good Saudi Arabian players as well. But like style of play he plays when he was at Celtic, I was like I loved him, man, because he made you fall in love with Celtic again. Because like before, like there was a lot of people not going to the stadium. Like it was like like and when he came in, he started bringing people back to the stadium because he style of play. So I hope that he can bring that style of play that he had at Celtic to Al Nassr, and he can help benefit Ronaldo and get him to the 1,000 goals that he wants.
Yeah, it's no far off it. I think 25 away.
Mm.
So for the final part of the show, we're going to talk a little bit about transfer news in Japan for the Asian football news. So Sebastian Haller will be a new Sanfrecce Hiroshima player. The Ivorian striker has just signed a one-year deal with an option to extend it for a further year. He joins the Japanese club as a free agent following spells with Utrecht, in the former BVB, Borussia Dortmund, Ajax striker begins his first non-European chapter of his career. What's your
Yep.
thoughts on that, Tommy? We know him from playing at West Ham as well in England. He left Frankfurt for 50 million after banging goals in there. Goes to West Ham, struggles a bit. Goes to Ajax, bangs the goals in there in the Champions League and stuff like that. I remember him getting 5 Champions League goals in one game. He goes to Dortmund for quite a big fee as well. He wins the African Cup Nations with Ivory Coast, comes back. He battles with cancer, overcomes cancer, performs well for Dortmund to a certain extent, leaves, goes to Utrecht, and now he's over in Japan. I never thought I'd see someone quite a bigger name, just past the prime, going to Japan. I don't think he's quite over the hill yet. What's your thoughts?
I think it's a great signing for the Japanese league, great for publicity, and I think he's proven himself like in different teams, but he also struggled at Dortmund a little bit at the West Ham, and he also had that battle with cancer that kind of like put him back a little bit. But I think it's great for him to go and continue his football, and I think he'll thrive in Japan, and I think he'll have a good lifestyle as well because like living in Japan can greatly benefit him because he's a footballer, and obviously his salary will be great. And I think as well, like he needs to get more game time because obviously when he had cancer, he had to stop playing football and like ease back into it. So I think like he can maybe come back to Europe if he has a good successful spell in Japan. But I don't think it's likely. But I think it's good that he's still playing football because obviously cancer can knock you back a little bit and make you quit football. So I think like this type of striker he is, he'll dominate the Japanese league because he's that aerial threat as well, and he's actually quite good at like his ball control as well. So I think I'm looking forward, and I'll keep a close tabs on him. So hopefully he does well.
Yeah, I think it'll be a success. And if I was him, I would stay in Japan. I think
Yeah,
Japan's a brilliant country. And who knows, like in Asia in general, if you perform well, you're treated like a god. So maybe you'll really enjoy it. You've had players look at Iniesta in the past, David Villa, Fernando Torres, Lucas Podolski, Thomas McLaughlin.
Patrick.
You've had Hulk, you've had Bafétimbi Gomis
Mm.
over in Japan as well. So we've had some really big names in Japan, and they've all been a relative success. One matter as well. So yeah, so I think it's a good signing. It's brilliant publicity for the league. I think he's going to perform well, and yeah, I think somewhat yourself. I think I'm going to keep tabs on him, see how he does, and see how well Sanfrecce perform because last year they were pretty good. So
Mm.
they played some exciting football. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And that's all from the Football Chuggu podcast today. A pretty detailed podcast. We've got a lot of talking points today, and I'm hopefully you like what we said. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. The podcast is available to listen to on all available streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it, it's there. And I'll edit myself the podcast tomorrow for YouTube. And I've been Pearse McLaughlin. Until next time, bye bye.
I'm Thomas McLaughlin. Hope to see you next week.